Welcome all again on board the Midnight Spaceship. I'm Slade Ham, your host of the Slade Ham Experiment. Things to talk about today. I've got stand-up comedy in this episode. I'm going to play some stuff. I'm going to do some nerdy, crafty talk, but it's also some magician talk to show you what's behind the curtain. So stick around. That's going to be fun. I also want to talk about the book, where we're at in the book, the process of writing the book, and some things about the book that might help you. And maybe something else if I get to it. Let me start by here's a freebie. Go watch Time Bandits on Apple TV. That's, if you do nothing else, if you stop this episode and just go do that. If you don't have Apple, pirate it. I don't really have a bunch of moral quandaries with that. And then find a way to go out and give some money to people like Takiti Watiti, whose name I can't ever pronounce. Taika Waititi, I think, is the name. Is it? I almost said Phoebe Cates. That's not her name. Lisa Kudrow. Because she played Phoebe on Friends. If you don't know Time Bandits, just briefly, it was a Terry Gilliam, Michael Palin production back in the 80s. A fantastic fantasy film, one of my favorites. And usually, you know me, I rant and I rave and I tell you this is for the don't do it, don't reboot my childhood stuff. I didn't even know this was a thing. I stumbled across a picture of I follow one of the puppeteers who worked on the show. They made a Quetzalcoatl, a big dinosaur bird. And I saw that, and it said from Time Bandits. And I said, the hell it was. I've seen Time Bandits. It came out in the 80s. I love it. Anyway, it's really good. The humor is good. It's totally family friendly. It's absolute fantasy, and it doesn't take itself seriously at all. And the character, it's just fun. So give yourself that. Now, back to me and my art. I've got some dates coming up, and I just had some dates. If you were there at any of my shows in Texas, mwah, I love you, I love you, I love you. We had such a fantastic time, and I'll talk about those shows here in a moment. But coming up, I'm in Houston with the Outlaw Comics. If you're watching this episode the day it comes out, it is today, August 28th, at the Houston Improv. Listen to this lineup. Are you kidding me? Jimmy Pineapple, the original one of the Outlaw. It was him, Bill Hicks. Guess who else? Andy Huggins. All the other guys that matter are dead. Ron Schock. Riley Barber's not dead, but who knows? Jim Patters. All those guys, they're gone. So Jimmy Pineapple, Andy Huggins, T-Shawn Shannon of SNL writing fame. If you're unfamiliar with him, if you don't know who T-Shawn is, T-Shawn, I don't want to spoil a joke, but it makes me laugh every time I hear it said. T-Shawn Shannon calls the Texas Governor Abbott in his wheelchair. He calls him Sittler. See, that's an honest laugh. It makes me laugh every time. All right, so anyway, T-Shawn's on the show. The Right Reverend Robert L. Mungle will be making a guest appearance coming out of retirement. And Juan Villarreal will be there. It's an insane lineup. It gets wider the later you get in the show till you get to me, and then my mom's full blown Lebanese Syrian, so half of a person is of color, if it counts. And Juan's Mexican, so 1.5 people of anyway. It's such a good show. You have to come if you're in Houston. And then I'm going to be in Killeen, Texas, the 6th and 7th of September. A couple of very special shows. That's a military town, so I'm looking at you military folks. And if you just want to hang out, come see me the night before, September 5th. I'm going to be with Candlebox is going to be in town with Bush and Jerry Cantrell. And the original guitarist, Peter Klett, my good friend, you're going to be here. It's going to be a wonderful night of music. I get nothing for promoting that, but they're good friends. Okay. The Texas tour. This is what I want to get. This is the stand-up part. This is all me rambling until we get here. I don't get to do... Usually when I work, I'm at a club for a couple of days. I go in. I like working with local acts. I'm working with a local guy, Chris Bowers, when I go back to Louisville in November. is I enjoy it. I enjoy seeing the local talent, giving them some stage time, working with those guys. So rarely right now am I bringing acts with me. But when I headline my own shows and they're sort of one nights, I do. So I got to do San Antonio with Trey Tutson. He came with us, Ruben Medina. Am I going to mess your last name up? Very funny kid, and I'm blanking right now. Both came, and then Chick and Joe Clark came out and had a good guest spot. It was my friends, and I got some work done. And then Houston was the following night, and it was just it was an absolute blast. And then cut to Thursday. Trey was supposed to come with me. He couldn't come. Jerry Wayne Longmire had done the night before with me, and he wasn't going to be able to. I was just getting like bummed. Nobody could go. And then my friend Sam Damaris messaged back, said he could make it. And then Jerry messaged back and said he could make it. So we piled ourselves in that car, 3 headliners deep, all of us capable of murdering that show. And my good friend Seth Coles was on the show also. He came out and graciously hosted it. And it was 3 of my best comedy friends, right? We have them, but we don't see each other very often. It was so fun. And I'm doing a part of my show right now. I'm just working this out. And when you don't have a whole new show, right? I did the special. It's out. I can't do any of the material from that on the road. So I've got a new show. I'm strip mining some old stuff that's not near the special. And that unclogged a drain on this old, crazy, psychotic relationship I was in. And when you don't have a new hour, but you're really, really good at crowd work, what you do is you find these little fence posts and you plant them in the show and you go, well, all right, I'm going to do material up to there. And then this is a topic that I can explore. I'm not just going to go into the crowd to stay, oh, hey, what do you do for a living? That's boring. But to talk to them with purpose, to fish some stories, to see if I can really rattle stuff loose in my own head. Because all of this, when it comes to, I don't care if it's stand-up or you're writing books or whatever art it is you're messing with. If it's self-referential, right? If it's reflecting you and it's not just you painting a picture of a barn across a lake, if you're talking about yourself at all, you gotta do some poking and prodding around. You got to get into the closet and start throwing clothes and digging in boxes and trying to find these stories. You're strip mining, to use that verb again, your whole soul. So I'm doing this. I'm just playing, and someone will say something, and that prompts me to, oh, wow, I hadn't thought about that in a long time. Let me tell this story. I have no punches for it, but it's fun to play in. So you guys, when you're watching us on social media, you see the clips. I got to give you the under 60-second version of what's happening. But you don't ever get to see inside the showroom as it's actually going on. So this is a more extended, unedited version of part of the crowd work portion of this show as I'm talking about the psychotic relationship. And what happens, I ask well, you'll see. Let's just play it from the jump. But I did date a psycho. Has anyone dated a psycho by applause? Has anyone been there by applause? Anyone else still dating that psycho but can't clap because you're here with them? Just blink. Oh, there's a lot of you in this room. This is good. Let's see. Who clapped over here? Did you clap?
He pointed at me.
He pointed at you? Were you supposed to be blinking? What's going on? All right. Let's see. Who clapped over here, my man? All right. How long were you with yours?
15 years.
15 years. Okay, shit. You did some time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. How about over here? This table. It's not TV. I can see you back. You looking at me confused. He was on every channel. No psycho here? No psycho. All right, that's cool. Who else? We had you. How long?
I wasn't, but they thought we were.
What?
Oh, well, this requires elaboration. She wasn't, but she thought they were.
No, he thought we were.
He thought you were.
Yeah.
Was he crazy?
He was.
Okay, well, tell me what happened. How long were y'all not together?
About a year.
You were not together for about a year?
Yeah.
Yeah, this sort of sounds like it might be you. You know, when you say about a year, was he just sending unresponsive text? You didn't say shit for a whole year. You just let those messages come in. You didn't toy with his mind in any way. And there was no womanly, nothing happening. You just completely ignored all those messages. You're lying to me, right? I can look at your lying ass face. I don't even need to be good at this to know how full of absolute, utter bullshit you are right now. So, how long did you string him along? A year? A year. How'd y'all meet?
Dancing.
Dancing?
Yeah.
Salsa dancing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good place to meet. So you had some rhythm, you had some rhythm, some salsa, and
It
then,
was crazy.
well, hang on. You're skipping a bunch of steps. You can't just. We were salsa dancing, and then he was crazy. Like, were y'all salsa dancing, and then he ran over you, like in the dance? Like, how fast? So, y'all were dancing. I don't know what salsa is. Salsa the one where you hold one arm out and do like, how do you salsa dance? Do you wiggle just give me is it the chicken dance? Like, I don't know anything about dancing. Is it the Harlem Shuffle? I don't know.
No, I don't even know.
Salsa, but it's like two people close to
Yeah,
close.
yeah.
Okay, it's not the tango.
No, it's
I'm saying all the dance words I know. It's also not ballet. Okay, so you and him are salsa dancing.
Yeah.
And then how did you know he was crazy?
when he started showing up places that I was.
Did you invite him?
No.
Okay, that's. How did he know where you were?
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair. And then how did this end? Did you call the cops?
No.
Here comes the bullshit.
No.
All right. Anytime there's a long with 3 or 4 M's in it, it is followed by bullshit 9 times out of 7. All right, listen.
Oh my God, we're still here. Okay.
Yeah, no, we are. I know, it's weird. I'm not going to let this go. I am a dog and a bone. I'm coming to 15 years next. Eventually you'll be off the hook. But what? All right. So he just started showing up places, and then...
Yeah.
And then...
Really complicated story. I regret even mentioning.
I regret asking, but we're here. Here's why I'm fascinated. Crazy people. Watch this. 15 years. You were with her for 15 years.
15.
Craziest thing that happened in 15 years.
Oh, God.
Bro broke out his radio voice for this shit.
Tried to kill me.
Tried to kill you. See what I mean? With your weak shit. All right. He was just at the pizza place at the same time as me. So, she tried to kill you. This is how?
Allegedly.
Here comes the bullshit. All right. What did she do? I got a story. Look, just anybody else with a crazy story? Somebody. Oh, so yeah, she waved off. She's like, all I do is snort. We are normal compared to these two. We just. Somebody clapped over. Who else had a crazy story over here? Somebody in this little area? Somebody? No way? All right. So, 15. So how'd she try to kill you?
We were in a fight, and she pulled a gun.
Oh, that's strong.
Yeah.
Did she fire it?
She fired it in the air.
In the air? All right. She didn't do you like Jules from...
No.
All right. Like all around your body? I said she just fired in the air like it was a Mexican wedding. She just...
There's your warning.
Okay, and then watch this.
All right.
How long did you stay with her after that?
3 years.
Thank you. That's all I needed to see. She was pretty. Bro, that has been the death of many a man. That is... Everybody on that ship of Odysseus jumped off because she was pretty. You got to tie yourself to a mast, sir.
So there's a lot going on in my head when all this is happening. And some of this you can pre-plan. Not pre-plan, but at some point you've seen some variation on many, many different themes. And I'll give you an example. For instance, these next two clips, I'll just run them back to back. I think you'll see the commonality by the first one.
Back here, how long were you with yours?
I was with her for 10 years.
What's the craziest thing that happened?
She cleaned out my bank account.
She cleaned out your bank account. Yeah, that's some white-collar domestic violence right there. You can't leave crazy people when you want to. Watch, blind call. When she cleaned out your bank account, how much longer did you stay with her?
Another 5 years.
One time, she got me pretty good with a fork while I was sleeping.
Ooh, you can't just leave crazy people. Watch. How long did you stay with her after the 4th?
About a year.
Thank you.
The crowd's reaction will tell you that they think I look psychic. That's how it probably appears to them. But by the second one or the third one, you start to realize, oh, wait, maybe this isn't as uncommon as it appears. And perhaps I'm speaking so knowledgeably and comfortably and confidently from a place that understands. Here's what's happening. One, I'm asking the crowd, right, for volunteers. And when I do that, you should know I'm marking people. You'll see my head if you go back and watch the video. I pan, I'm looking around, I'm marking them. I can see who's enthusiastic. I can see who might be a better participant than others. I don't want really drunk people. I don't want really meek people. I want volunteers and outgoing people who aren't going to be embarrassed, because the goal is for us all to leave the room happy and not, oh my God, a comedian beat me to death. So you can see in the long video from the Addison Improv, I got two people. And the reason I played that all unedited is so that you can see it's not always all perfect. I'm fishing. I'm looking for stuff. And I also am trying to judge when we're getting uncomfortable. And then when she basically said as much towards the end, and that was me thinking there was funnier stuff in there. And when there wasn't, I laughed along with her and said, you're right, and moved on. To the second guy, which is the called shot. And the fun part about that, when you're talking to these people, and you see as I talk to him, no one ever tells you the last thing that happened. I know that. I also know that if you've been in a relationship, I'm looking for people who've been in a certain length of relationship. If you've only been in that thing for 6 months, you're useless to me. But if you got more than 5 years or so, what I know more than anything for sure is that it was not a blissful 5 years, and then on 5 year and day one, it went parabolically psycho. That didn't happen. I know that other crazy things occurred throughout the course of the relationship. They might have escalated, but chances are there were lots of big ones, and you just grabbed the one that was biggest in your mind when I asked. The story you've told the most often. It's never the last one. I know that happened somewhere in the middle, and it was the most interesting. So when I asked these people, how long did you stay? I am rolling the dice a little bit, right? Maybe you did jump after that one, but chances are there were lots of crazy incidences in your entire psychotic relationship, because that's how those things go. And the odds of you picking the last one are like 1 in 100. So that's really what I'm doing. I'm just picking the right person, and I'm just giving them the right bait, and I'm letting them tell the right story, and then I'm asking them the right question in the right way, and you get the same response, and it looks a bit like sorcery if it's done right, and a little less like sorcery if it's done repeatedly. So this is us only. Nobody watches, so it doesn't matter. But that's the magic of that. What else do I have to? Yeah, I've got time. This is a short episode. It's supposed to be a short episode because here we are. If you are working on something, as I am, you should know how absolutely difficult it is. And you should also know that this is the thing you should know more than all of it. What you start out to do will not be what you finish with. It's almost impossible to take an idea from inception to completion and have them match. I don't mean that blueprint you took right before you made. I'm talking about, oh, wow, eureka. This would be great to here's what great led to. It's never, half the time it's unrecognizable. And I've talked about how a previous version of this book existed, how there were 70,000, is that how many words? Some enormous amount of words I just dumped. And by dumped, I mean I just shoved them off to the side and have gone through, because the word of the day is strip mine. And strip mined those stories for little elements. But you start shaking stuff out. And I've been in depression isn't the word, a funk for a stretch. And not for any reason or none of that, but not anything bad. But just like this low-lying undercurrent of unease. And some of it, I'm relatively sure, has to do with the material I'm digging through. I'm writing about things that you do a first pass and you're, here's the version I'm going to tell. And then there's a second pass where you're like, where you're bullshitting everybody and yourself and how, so go in and fix it. And then there's another pass where it's like, okay, now you got to put some honest introspection and reflection in this, because it's a lot of here's what happened, but not a lot of why or what that means. It's just pass after pass with some really some chunky stuff, that I'm writing about. And then also the stuff I'm writing about for the stage. And I finally had to come to terms with the fact that it's like, man, I just need to I need to put some good dates on the book so my mind is not in panic mode about money, right? But that's not the hard part. I need to take and build in, you got to build in breaks when you're working on stuff like this and step into the daylight, because a lot of it can be writing with you poring over a computer and you're just sort of in your own little tunnel vision and you're dealing with stuff that's got some emotional weight to it. Yeah. Make sure you take a moment, go get some sunlight, hang out with some friends. I'm terrible at socializing, but today I made myself. I went and saw a friend in the hospital. I went and had lunch with a friend. Both of which were emotionally heavy, but they were social, and that's better than unsocial. So I'm saying that to use this quote that I'm going to bastardize because I didn't write the quote down. It's Yuval Noah Harari, and he says, you're entitled to your own truth, but not to your own facts. And that's what I'm doing with this book, right? When you're writing in the genre of memoir, whether you're publishing or whether you're doing it for yourself, your journals can fall in the category of memoir very easily. Same thing, if you're writing it right. But when you're writing like that, what you're sort of doing anytime we're writing something down and turning it into an essay or a chapter or a piece, you're deciding on the definitive version of that story going forward. Becomes more concrete, not something you can edit every time you pull it out and put it back in. You don't get to change it for the scenario anymore because there's a version now. And that's what I think is the most emotionally heavy, is I am deciding on the versions that will be forever set in stone for some of the big stories in my life. And you know what? If you're bold enough to tackle something like that, I keep telling myself, then you're entitled to have a little funk in your day. But you got to put some good funk in there too. I recommend Parliament or Prince. Cheers to you guys. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching my comedy. I can't wait for you to see the new show when I get it to you. Those dates are always on my calendar at sladeham.com. If you go there, sign up for the newsletter. It's just turning into a new thing, even as I speak, and I want you to be part of it. You guys are in my tribe by nature of being here, and I appreciate it. Cheers to you, and I'll see you on another episode soon.